In this video, we're gonna see who knows how to teach someone how to box better. Me, Andy El Tiburon Vence, is a boxer with 30 professional fights, or ChatGPT. In my professional boxing career, I started out locally. I was a ticket seller trying to fight on local cards. At 12-0, I got signed to Top Rank. With Top Rank, I went to 16-0 to win the WBC Continental Americas title in 2016. I held that title all the way until I was 23-0. I fought 4 undefeated fighters and had a total of 30 professional fights. I've been in some of the greatest fights, televised on ESPN, pay-per-view, you name it. Today, we're going against ChatGPT. For those that don't know, once again, just to sum it up, ChatGPT is an AI tool that has access to millions of topics and a lot of useful information. This is an AI tool that literally knows it all. So I want to test my knowledge against ChatGPT's. So let's get into it. Me as a professional boxer, I think the 5 biggest fundamentals are these. Number 1, your stance. I like to say your stance because your stance is your foundation. It's like a tree. If you're not planted in the ground and you don't have a good base, you're gonna fall all over, you're gonna be off balance, you're not gonna have no power. For me, the feet are everything, because at the end of the day, fast feet defeat. Number 2 would be my hand placement. As far as where my hands are at, right? You don't want your hands out, you can't have your hands on your chest, you can't have your hands up here. Gotta have them in a good position. The next, I would say, is your distance. You don't want to be too close, you don't want to be too far. You gotta be at a good range, knowing at what distance to fight at. The last 2 are very hard, but I think number 4 is gonna be my defense. I would say specifically defense as far as reaction and moving. I'd rather not rely on my hands so that I don't take any punches, but I would say if I had to choose for number 4, it's gonna be my defense as far as my head movement. Moving and evading punches. We're missing one very big one, and I'm very big on this. And I think at the end of the day, defense is very important, but the last one is footwork. Having footwork, being able to create angles. Once I'm able to use my head movement with my feet, look what happens. I'm able to move and create angles. And now, my defense is on point, and I'm only that much harder to hit. Those are my 5 best. I would say my stance, hand positioning, distance management, 4 is head movement, and my 5th would definitely have to be footwork. All right, let's hear what ChatGPT has to say.
All right, so ChatGPT's top 5 was stance, which was your first one, footwork, the jab, defense, and combinations.
Well, that's very important. You know what? I fucked up. I totally forgot about my punches. I'll be completely honest. I forgot about my punches. I was strictly thinking fundamentals as far as the stance and the boxing stance and all that. I fucking forgot about the jab, forgot about punches. Fuck, I fucked up. First round goes to ChatGPT for sure. They beat the fuck out of me the first round. But I totally forgot about the jab. Hell yeah. The jab's probably one of the main ones. The jab, the stance, the jab, the defense. I missed out. That's probably one of the most important punches in boxing. If I had to put it on that list, that would have been that jab. Alright, let's get to the second question. I'm already starting to get fucking irritated in this heat. ChatGPT mentioned the jab and the combinations. Super important. Let's hear what they gotta say. The 3 most effective techniques in boxing. Defenses, I would have to say is making your punches falling short by using the technique of managing distance. I would say like managing distance. The next one I would have to say is being able to evade punches, and the last one I would say is being able to parry and block punches. Those are my 3. I think it's very important, the distance. I think it's very important as far as movement and reaction to evade the punches, and last is my hands. In the first one, I would say my reaction and distance to evade punches, but that also includes my footwork, so don't get it confused. I need to have footwork to be able to like manage distance, evading punches, obviously reaction, head movement and stuff, and my parrying and blocks. My top 3. Fucking winning right here. Let's go!
Alright, so you said managing distance, evading punches, parry, and blocking. So ChatGPT responded with slipping, parry, and blocking, which is one of the ones that you said, and bob and weaving.
Fuck ChatGPT, we knocked him out. Nah, I would say I disagree. I very disagree. As far as like I do agree. What was the first one?
Slipping.
I mean, you can't slip punches if you can't manage your defense. I mean, you can't manage your distance. That's my whole thing. It's like, how are we gonna slip punches from up close and like you get hit? So I think, again, this is what I'm explaining to you guys. Distance is very important. You can't slip or evade punches if you don't know the distance. Because without managing your distance, there's no way. Like, just think about it. How are you gonna slip punches at any range? There's no way. You gotta know your distance. All right, guys. It's 1-1. We got a little tie right here. It's a good one. 3 common or biggest bad habits I would say to avoid for a beginning level would be pairing the jab with their hand low, you know, thinking the jab's coming and pairing, your hand drops, and then you get knocked out. Everyone always does that with the hook. Even at experience level, a lot of people are doing this. So I would say that even applies to beginner level. I would say like just call it anticipating the punch. The second one I would have to say is loading up. Trying too hard on every shot. Not everything has to be hard. It could be set up. Obviously, I'm going into detail about it, but that would be the biggest one is loading up. And 3, standing on their heels and not being on their toes. Be too flat-footed. Too flat-footed as a boxer. Obviously, trying too hard, and the other one is being too flat. Basically, sitting on their heels, off balance, no way to generate power, speed, no way to move speed. So it's my top 3. So let's see what ChatGPT says.
All right, so their 3 was dropping the guard, overextending punches, and neglecting footwork.
Neglecting footwork, yeah, it's a good one. I would love that one. I do love that one. Overextending. That's what, like, I mentioned that in one of my YouTube videos where people are trying too hard to hit someone that they're leaning over and they get countered. I did explain that. But you gotta give me credit too. My top 3 were, which ones were they?
Your top 3 were
yeah, the guard.
The dropping the guard, pretty much. Loading up every shot. Being flat-footed.
Yeah, and loading up every shot, guys. Loading up on every shot causes you to overextend. It causes you to reach. It causes you to try too hard to put yourself in that position. Although I didn't mention the overextending, it's trying too hard that gets you to overextend. I would say that's an even battle. I can't really pick who wins, but we'll just give Andy the benefit of the doubt as a professional. All right, guys, it's 1-1. That last one, that was even. Some tips to improve footwork or even get my footwork better. To anybody, I would say is shadow boxing. Obviously looking at yourself in the mirror, practicing your different directions, forward, backwards, shadow, shadows. I mean, I train that to my clients. I teach that. And I would say the next one to get your footwork faster and better is ladders. Ladder drills. You know, you guys seen the football ladder going in now. You can even go on a box stance. You can do a lot of stuff on the ladders. I would say basically footwork drills. You can do it on the track. You can do it on the field. Basically footwork drills to get your feet fast.
All right, so ChatGPT said stance and balance, shadow boxing, agility and coordination drills, which it says ladder drills.
Fuck yeah.
Footwork exercises, which is like footwork drills, and sparring and bag work.
Sparring, backward. Take a deep breath. Cause I gotta explain this to you guys. The ChatGPT gave us like five ways to improve footwork, but I did it in fucking 3. So I did it in the least amount of ways. I would say I gave you 3 ways to get it better. The only one where I'm kind of like is ChatGPT says about the bag drills, but it depends what you're doing on the bag drill. Like obviously to get your combination, your punches better, I would say do the bag drills. But ChatGPT didn't state like go on the heavy bag and maybe do the Lomachenko drill, shuffle around, get angles. So I don't really count their way to get footwork better. I understand you get your footwork better boxing on the heavy bag, but I don't feel it's as concentrated as you practicing on the heavy bag and shuffling around and doing something specific for your feet. I summed it up in 3 ways. They summed it up in 5. Fuck that, we got that one. Alright guys, we're getting into question 5, but I just wanted to share something real quick. I feel challenged right now. I feel I'm against someone, although no one's here. I feel someone's here testing what I know. So it's competitive right here. Although I'm competing with AI, it feels like I'm competing with someone here. It's just, it's getting me a little heated in here. Let's get into question number 5. shit, it's gonna be a good one. I don't want to lose this one, but I would leave this job up to my coach specifically so I could, focus on training and whatnot. But from what I know, my coach would definitely go into my opponent's lives as far as looking at film, old fights, new fights, trying to pick up bad habits. He would go on their Instagram even to see what their daily life is, even on Facebook, just to see how are they training, what exercises are they doing, so that we could do it better, stronger, faster, harder. But I would say that's how my trainer and how we study opponents when going into a boxing match. Let's see what the fuck ChatGPT has to say.
Alright, so ChatGPT said, gather information, identify strengths and weaknesses.
It's fucking whack. The way they put this shit is like a damn teacher.
Game plan development, technical and tactical training, sparring and simulation, and mental preparation.
I like that. I'm gonna give him that one. I'm gonna give him that one only because they mentioned something that I'm very big on, which is, hey, and you see I'm not biased, motherfucker, so don't think I'm over here trying to get myself points, trying to make me feel, nah. I'm a very realistic person when I hear points that are given. Something they mentioned on there that's actually very important, gets me a little serious, is mental preparation. It's the fact that mentally you know what you're going to get into, you know what's taking place, you know what's going to be happening. This is big. Like they say, boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. It's all in your mind and what happens in here. So you know what? I'm going to respectfully give that round to ChatGPT. As an AI tool to mention that type of information, that comes from experience. I'm an experienced fighter, left that out. Gotta give props to ChatGPT. I would say I've been robbed in so many fights. I'm gonna have to give myself the decision today. But hey, close fight. Good job, AI. It was a close fight. I'm gonna give it one of those, just like I experienced in my career. AI, good job, but I edged you at one point. But hey, great pointers, great opinions as far as being an AI tool, something that's never experienced boxing. Very close to everything I mentioned. You're talking about an experienced boxer with 30 pro fights, fighting on national TV. Wow, that's not bad. They got no experience. They're not a human. They haven't been in there. And yet they're gathering all this information, millions of informations on different type of topics, and they were able to respond to me with that. So I gotta give them 2 thumbs up.
Do you think AI can offer valuable insights in the world of boxing?
I think they really can. After my experience today, I think they can offer insights to pretty much anything we want to learn or want to ask. Like I said, no experience in the ring was able to come up with these topics and these type of things. So, hey, I'm surprised. They were right there. They were right behind my ass, just fucking trying to win the decision.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you think ChatGPT did?
ChatGPT was right behind me. They weren't too detailed as far as in them, but I would say they were a high 8 out of 10. Just because they know a lot more than the average person that I know that's a damn boxer and a coach. I think AI takes over these fake coaches. AI is gonna take over the world. They say AI is gonna take over, so it's a possibility in certain fields, but I feel like boxing, you gotta be hands-on. That's the only reason why AI would. But I feel the information is valuable. It's there. It's accessible. Use it, especially at a beginner level.